So let's talk about religious intolerance. In order to first understand what my big idea is all about, we have to sort of narrow it down and discuss the very basis of the problems that come up when dealing with religious intolerance. First off, it has to be understood that not everyone's going to agree with what I'm saying. And secondly, I don't really expect all that many people to change their ways overnight. That being said, let's define exactly what religious intolerance is. It can come in many forms, from downright hatred of another person's religion, or lack of, or chastising someone in a social sense for their beliefs, social status, or sexual identity. We see religious intolerance manifest itself in many forms, especially here in America. Today we're going to go over those next few of those, as well as some of the international problems as well. Why is it a problem in America? It's simple. Since we became our own country, we've forgotten all about the separation of church and state. The simple fact that the government doesn't control the churches isn't enough. For people to donate charity and not have to pay taxes, that charity ought to be required to help everyone without discrimination, and they don't do that. Also, one of our most major problems is tax cuts. Why should churches, synagogues, mosques, and other organizations that affiliate themselves with major religion get tax breaks and levies when true non-profit organizations don't? That doesn't follow our laws, and it doesn't follow our Constitution. And because there's no true separation, the government itself has to take some responsibility for this intolerance. There really isn't too much to say here, but separate church and state. The government cannot make social issues a problem based on religion. So what if your God said it's between a man and a woman? That doesn't belong in government. This country was founded as a free country, and let it be free, and let its people be free. Politicians who involve religion in their decisions on this kind of thing are seriously misguided. Now there's a lot of religions, but I'm going to hit the three mainstream, and we're going to go over the brief points in dealing with all three. This is a fascinating picture. I know it doesn't represent all Christians, but where I live it speaks the majority for the thoughts, but maybe not the outspoken ones, and the ideals about Muslims, especially in the South. They have their religion. Christians have theirs. Sure, 9/11 was justified to be an Islamic radical problem, but I think that Christians often forget about the mass genocide started by them during the Crusades and some of the violence still going on around the world. The fact is, I've met a whole bunch of Muslims, and I've liked most that I've met. Most of them are just peaceful and want to be a person just like everybody else does. Most of them think that the problems that we had here with that are just as bad as some of the atrocities going on over there. And it's nobody's fault but the radicals. Every religion has its radicals. The deal is that no one has clean hands. Get along. You worship the same God. So far as I know, it seems that I'm not giving much construction. I'm only tearing down, but I assure you there's much more to it than that, and you'll see it clearly by the end. The wars in the Middle East over a piece of land promised by the same God to 2 or 3 different groups are causing more strife than just about anything happening in the world today. Thousands, maybe millions, have been killed for centuries over small pieces of land that each group claims belongs to them and only them. Is it really that hard to get along? Senseless killing in the name of a couple of acres just doesn't make sense. Get along with your neighbor. Jews quit fighting Muslims. Muslims quit fighting Jews. It's a piece of land. Get over it. While there's a lot more wrong with this particular group and this problem that I'm going to say here, I think this picture speaks for one of the most appalling religious practices in the world: apostasy. If you leave Islam, you're dead. That's it. That's the law. They can't even stand someone leaving it, someone who will likely never have to deal with them again. Kill them because they aren't like you. That's a good way to make a peaceful life, as the holy book of this particular religion would order you to do. Now, most Islamic people don't practice this, especially in European and Western countries, but in places like Iran and Pakistan, Afghanistan, and several other countries where radicals are free to do what they want, apostasy is a terrible thing, and it is in the book. They technically are supposed to follow it. It's not a good thing. And finally, my own people. While I might share a view that all religions need to become more tolerant towards one another, fellow atheists, you need to be quiet. Speaking out in hatred and your own intolerance isn't going to help anyone. Don't spout, don't become a fountainhead, and don't criticize others for what you can't practice yourself. A lot of religious people have a negative view about atheism because they simply haven't met very many good ones. And neither have I. There is a simple explanation for this. The good ones don't care if you're religious. We care if you hurt people. We aren't out to tell you you're wrong. We're out to tell you to quit hitting that person with big rocks. Unfortunately, the spokesperson for these groups tend to get confrontational. It really doesn't help the cause whatsoever. I rarely know any other atheists other than myself that have claimed to be atheists. The ones who care and the ones who care about people's lives usually don't spout off what they are. They don't want attention. They want to make the world better. Finally, let's figure out how to stop all of these problems. Horrible practices have been practiced for centuries, and it isn't going to be easy, but I think the only real way to get out and get everyone together is to first educate the public. Most members of the Abrahamic religions don't even understand that they worship the same God. Most atheists don't realize that we have freedom to be who we want because the religion caused America to become a free nation in the first place. People were escaping intolerance before. People need to know and they need to understand the hurt that they're causing around the world. We, you, me, everyone, we need to get out and tell people that it's hurtful, or it's wrong, or it's not your business when you see someone committing some form of intolerance towards another. Sure, it may be against your belief, but why does it matter? Are they hurting you? Most likely not. If someone's being rude or intolerant, let them know they're being wrong. Tell them to leave the other people alone. We need to learn as well that it's more than just understanding. We have to coexist. We have to all come together as a group and understand those things that make us different and understand what we can do to leap over those hurdles and get along. Go out and make friends with someone of a different belief. You may not even know it, but you probably have atheist friends, Jewish friends, Muslim friends, and if you're not a Christian, you have other Christian friends. And you may be of a different belief system, but would it really change your opinion of your best friend if you knew they hadn't believed in God all of these years? What suddenly makes them such a terrible person? Nothing does. They're still your friend. We have to understand these things if we're going to have peace in this world. So I know it's really not much, telling people when they're wrong, spreading our differences and understandings, making new friends and getting along, but truly this is a battle that will likely go on forever, and we can change the world one bit at a time and in tiny pieces. So let's start doing it, and let's start getting along. Stop the petty violence, stop the intolerance, stop oppressing other people. Practice tolerance every day of your life.